All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I have for you guys is about Wesley Vissers. So it's been a while since we've talked about Wesley. He won my 2017 and first ever Mr. Golden Era competition. And this past weekend, Wesley did a guest posing showing off the recent improvements that he's made to his physique. And you can clearly see that he's put on a tremendous amount of size, and he has made some really quality improvements to his physique. As you guys may know, he took this opportunity to forego competing at the Mr. Olympia 2019. So he intentionally did not do the Mr. Olympia this year to focus on making improvements to his physique. After that placing that he got at the Arnold Classic, I believe he was 10th or 11th at the Arnold in the Classic Physique category. Not exactly where he was hoping to place there. So after receiving that placing, he wanted to really take some time off to focus on making the improvements that the judges told him he needed to make, specifically to his lower body, and apparently from this guest posing video, putting on a significant amount of size. I think the two main criticisms of Wesley so far have been his legs and his conditioning. And I think based on what we can see in this guest posing video from this past weekend, not only has he put on a tremendous amount of size and made some improvements to his upper body, but his legs really seem to be much improved as well. Now, I'm not entirely sure what Wesley's plan is for 2019 or 2020 as far as any more shows that he's going to be doing, or whether or not he's going to do the Arnold Classic or attempt to qualify for the 2020 Mr. Olympia, or when exactly he's planning on making his comeback to the professional stage. But if this is an off-season version of Wesley, I think he looks phenomenal. Obviously, this is guest posing shape and not competition shape. And I think for guest posing shape, he looks pretty damn good here. I mean, he's in really good condition for a guest posing, which I think is a really good sign for Wesley. Whatever show he chooses to do next, hopefully this conditioning carries over the actual competition shape. Now, Wesley, for me, he's one of my favorite classic physiques. He's really had yet to actually nail it on a classic physique pro stage. For whatever reason, the packages that he's presented, when he has competed as a pro, the judges just haven't really rewarded it in the way that fans seem to appreciate his physique. So hopefully the changes that he's making now are going to be some significant changes that the judges actually can see and going the direction of classic physique that the judges want him to go. But certainly it looks to be a tremendously improved version of Wesley, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what he's going to be able to do in the future in the classic physique division. So I'm wishing Wesley the best. You can go watch this full guest posing video over on his channel, Vintage Genetics. It's about 20 minutes long, and it's titled Iron Man Guest Posing from this Iron Man Maiden NPC contest that was held in the Netherlands this past weekend. But honestly, I think he looked phenomenal here, and we're going to see some great things from Wesley in the coming year. All right, so the next story that I have for you guys today is about Greene. And no, it's not about Greene potentially coming back to compete at the Olympia. It's about a recent post that Greene made on Instagram where he says he's thinking about actually going vegan after watching the Game Changers documentary on Netflix, which was produced by Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jackie Chan. So I haven't watched this Game Changers documentary yet, but apparently the aim of this documentary is to convert bodybuilders and elite level athletes to plant-based diets. So it's talking about whether or not animal protein, is really the optimal way for athletes to achieve high levels of performance in their sports, and whether or not plant-based diets are a viable option for them, to actually switch over to. So Greene apparently saw this documentary and put up this post on Instagram saying, thinking about going on a plant-based diet, still doing some more research. Anyone here have any experience with it? Then he says in his caption, I don't know if you guys saw the Game Changers documentary on Netflix, but it sure got me all messed up about meat and thinking ways to do with a plant-based diet. So I thought this was an interesting post. A lot of people were sending it to me. A lot of people thought that Greene was trolling. Then he put up a following post where it's him eating a piece of broccoli, and it has a little meme thing on it that says "Go Vegan," and it says "Out here flexing, broccoli gang gang," which I think is interesting because I think the primary reason why so many people are focused on Greene potentially going vegan is the irony of the fact that Greene used to be sponsored by Muscle Meds, and Muscle Meds' primary product that they were famous for was their carnivore line of beef protein. There was those famous ads of Greene wearing all red. Obviously, their logos and stuff were red because of the carnivore gimmick. But those famous advertisements of Greene holding a piece of raw steak and biting into it. Those were like the original Kai Greene, really his first major sponsorship. That's what a lot of people became familiar with Kai Greene through. So the fact that he's going vegan now seems to be a little bit ironic to most people. And actually, I believe this picture of him eating the broccoli here, the broccoli is actually covering one of those ads where he was eating a raw piece of steak. So these posts have generated quite a big conversation and quite a lot of controversy in the comment sections of the posts. There's a lot of people for it, a lot of people against it, a lot of people that think it's great, a lot of people that think it's stupid. Honestly, I think it's a great thing for Kai Greene. I don't think it's anything, people should be arguing about. I think Kai Greene is a guy, he's been a 300-pound bodybuilder for the past however many years. I think switching to a plant-based diet would be a very healthy move for him as far as his longevity is concerned. I personally don't think that Kai Greene is going to come back to the Olympia stage, and I personally don't think that Kai Greene switching to a vegan diet would facilitate a comeback to the Olympia stage. I still think that Kai Greene would be able to maintain a significant amount of muscle mass and still be a pretty big guy on a vegan diet or a plant-based diet. But I've seen people perpetuating the idea that because he's switching to a plant-based diet, that means he's preparing for a comeback and that this plant-based diet is going to give him the optimal physique. I think, personally, Kai Greene has had enough trouble trying to come in conditioned on a standard, typical bodybuilder diet. I don't think this is going to help his conditioning, making a major change to his diet like this, a diet that he's been doing for years, the standard bodybuilding diet he has had yet to perfect. So I don't know why people would think that he's going to perfect his conditioning based on a diet that he just started and he's just familiarizing himself with. Nothing against the plant-based diet whatsoever, but I don't think him making this dramatic shift in his diet is going to mean he's going to have the best conditioning that he's ever had. I just don't see that. And then on the other end of the spectrum, people were speculating that because he's switching to a plant-based diet, could this mean he has officially retired from competitive bodybuilding? I don't necessarily believe that either. I do think 100% that a professional IFBB bodybuilder could compete on a plant-based diet. I 100% think that's a possibility. I 100% think that's viable. And I don't think that a bodybuilder switching to a vegan diet means that they are retiring from professional bodybuilding at all. I think there are still certainly phenomenal options in terms of protein sources if you're a vegan. Redcon One, my sponsor, for example, and this isn't even a plug, they have a whole line of vegan protein powders, and they taste phenomenal. So I think a lot of people might not realize there's a lot of options out there as far as really good protein sources for vegan bodybuilders and athletes. Now, the next story that I have for you guys today is going to be another Larry Wheels story, just very quickly here. I know we just covered the Larry Wheels physique update yesterday, talking about how he's planning on getting up to 308 pounds, I believe. He does a little posing update here on Instagram where he actually hits a front relaxed, front lat spread, most muscular, and a front double bicep. And I think he actually looks really, really good here, hitting these bodybuilding poses. And again, this is apparently at the heaviest body weight that Larry has ever been at. He says he's at 300 pounds in this particular posing update, which I think just goes to show, how much height plays a role in weight distribution, how different Larry can look than a shorter guy at 300 pounds. I don't know how tall exactly Larry is. I know he's over 6 foot, but a guy that's under 6 foot is certainly going to hold 300 pounds in a very, very different way than Larry holds it. He certainly doesn't look like he weighs 300 pounds. I think it's actually kind of incredible how good he does look at a body weight that high. So 8 more pounds to go for Larry Wheels on his goal to get to 308 pounds over the next, I believe, 7 weeks. So I'm curious to see how that winds up going. All right, so the final story that I have for you guys today is another pretty sad story. So another bodybuilder has passed away this year in 2019. This bodybuilder was the Mr. USA middleweight champion, Daniel Alexander. So the tragic thing about this was that Daniel, I believe, was only 31 years old when he passed away. And he was also a 212 division IFBB pro. He was prepping to compete on November 9th at the Legion Sports Festival in the 212 category. There's been no cause of death actually officially listed, but he was very, very young at the time of his passing, which makes 2019 a pretty sad year for bodybuilding. We had David Dearth pass away earlier this year. Of course, we had the bodybuilding legend Franco Columbu pass away just a couple of months ago now. We had Flex Wheeler just this week having the lower portion of his right leg below the knee amputated. So it's just been a very rough year for the bodybuilding community in general. And it's very sad to see anybody pass away at such a young age. Again, the cause of death is still unknown, and I will make sure to update you guys if any more information comes out, because I think it is important to give that information once it is finally revealed. That, of course, wraps it up for the video today, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. Please subscribe to this channel for more news updates in bodybuilding just like this one. And as always, please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.